You have coins and you're looking for an investment. Well, you came to the right place. Well, I hope so. I'll try and point you in the right direction. Now, it's no secret that you can make a ton of coins if you invest in items at the correct time, for the correct price. Sometimes those investments can yield very quick results, and other times, well, they take a while to actually make money off. But you may think, how do people actually invest? How do people know items are going to go up in price? Well, nobody ever knows. But you can make an educated guess. You can look at trends, you can look at the time of the year, you can look at, I don't know which mayor it is. You can look at certain events that are coming up, and you can look at potentially new updates that are coming out. So today we're going to take a look at perhaps what items you should invest in midway through 2024. I do want to say, like I said just a couple of seconds ago, you can make an educated guess. You can never be 100% sure that something is going to increase or decrease in price. So before you spend any of your coins, I encourage you to do your own research. Just like in pretty much investing in anything in real life, you've got some investments that are high risk, high reward. For instance, the stock of stonks. They've always been a high risk investment. They recently crashed due to the update that's currently on the alpha, basically giving stock of stonks an actual use. Therefore, it's not just some sort of speculation. The people who had stock of stonks, they were over 20 million coins, and of course now they've dropped about 10 mil. But just simply the nature of the item kind of dictated that it was always going to be a high risk investment. And of course high reward, because these were, just a matter of a couple of 100k maybe a year ago. And then you've got other investments that kind of just are always on the rise with inflation. Things like booster cookies, commodities. If you would have invested in booster cookies around about 6 months ago, then you'd currently be up around about 5 mil on your investment per piece. But I guess some people simply just don't want to wait 6 months. And the truth of the matter is, there isn't really that many volatile items in terms of price on Skyblock. Items can become volatile, for instance when a new update releases or is rumoured or on alpha, or basically if a new meta or method is discovered. Unless you're the person to discover that meta, it's pretty difficult to predict. However, as for updates, well, it becomes a little bit more clear cut. Which means realistically, going down that route if you want to make a lot of money quickly may be your best option. So let's get into it. Before we do, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You should subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries, I want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Now we have a few different updates in the pipeline. First of all, we have the update that's currently back on the alpha server, which is the Better Mayors update. Then we have the Foraging update, which really shouldn't really be too far away at this point. It was confirmed that it's going to at least be sometime this year. Hopefully. Now, of course, with the Foraging update, a lot of people are speculating that there's also going to be Tier 5 Wolf Slayer as well, because that would kind of make sense. And then, of course, the Primal Dragon update. Now, of course, Summoning Eyes are a huge part of the Primal Dragon update. And they absolutely skyrocketed. It says 3 million, but they went up to like 7 or 8 mil for a short period of time. This was when the alpha for the Primal Dragon update dropped. So the proof is here that, I mean, imagine if you were holding on to Summoning Eyes for whatever reason for 1 million coins each and you sold them at 8 mil each. That is insane. 8 times in your profit or your money. But are they going to increase that much when the actual update comes out? Well, sure, they're going to increase. So, it wouldn't be a terrible investment. However, we don't really know when this Primal Dragon update is even going to come out. It was on alpha in February, and there's not really been any sort of mention of it since. But as for something like the Foraging update, it is going to come out. And of course, at the moment, there's not really much content surrounding foraging. You've got wood and enchanted wood. And I assume when the update comes out, there's going to be an even more condensed form of wood, which is going to be, I don't know, something similar to like a refined diamond. So straight up, wood itself has surely got to go up in price. And the only foraging tool that we have at the moment is the Tree Capitator. Other than that, there's the Jungle Axe. And funnily enough, the Tree Capitator is a direct upgrade from the Jungle Axe. You need a Jungle Axe to craft a Tree Capitator. Wouldn't be surprising to see something better than a Tree Capitator that requires the Tree Capitator to actually craft. Nevertheless, even if that isn't the case, these are going to go up in price. Of course, foraging pets. Now I'm sure we're probably going to see some new pets come out with the foraging update, but for instance, the monkey is going to go up in price. The monkey is pretty much the main foraging pet, along with the ocelot. I mentioned about the speculation of there being, well, a new Wolf Slayer boss, being Tier 5 Wolf Slayer, meaning perhaps there's going to be new items introduced. That will probably maybe require something like golden teeth to craft, or maybe an overflux capacitor. My point is, these sort of investments are really quite self-explanatory. If you have the patience to wait for an update to actually release, then regardless of if the update has been an alpha or not, you're definitely going to make some money. That's if you've invested prior. Now, something completely different that's been pretty prominent recently are skins. Now, skins, of course, initially obtained from the fire sales in the community shop. These skins bought with real money, essentially. Buying gems with real money. Spending the gems on the items. I'm sure you know how it works. These items release in a limited quantity, meaning that once the fire sale is over, your only option to actually buy these is off the AH. If the skin is desirable and maybe there isn't a huge quantity actually released, then they'll be relatively expensive. And naturally, as time goes on, these skins will become more scarce and more expensive. But there's a few different ways you can look at this. You can look at them as long-term investments. For instance, if you pick a relatively sought-after skin, regardless of the quantity, over time you're going to make money on it. For instance, this baby skin that was released on for a strong dragon helmet back in October of 2020 is selling for 2 billion coins. There was a very small quantity of only 500, and it makes sense why it's so expensive. Maybe not because it's so good, but because it's so rare. And the reality is, majority of these skins will have been applied, which massively decreases the value. If the skin is on its own and actual in its skin form, then it holds its value. But recently, maybe not so old pet skins have been going up in price a lot too. For example, if we take the Celestial Wither Goggle skin, this is a graph of the all-time price. And the prices we see here are relatively expensive. So in April, 370 mil. Then again in April, 385. Below 400 mil though, you'd be getting ripped off if you were to pay over. Fast forward to the sales in the last week and the average price is 604 mil. Some selling for as high as almost 670 million coins. The same goes for the Cyberpunk Wither Goggle skin. It's very, very similar, although it's just on a smaller scale, because, well, the Celestial Wither Goggles, I guess, are a bit more desirable. Up until April, just a couple of months ago, the price was relatively sturdy at, between 150 and 170 mil. If we look at sales in the past week, the average price is, 336 million coins. A few sold for as high as 360 mil. Here, let's take a look at the Golden Monkey skin. Once again, we're on an all-time graph, and it sat relatively, really, really cheap for quite a long period of time. This is a relatively old skin that was released in, the start of 2021. It sat at way less than 100 mil up until last year, and it did start to climb around about a year ago, which kind of makes sense. I guess it just became more and more rare to find. But even if we go back to April of this year, you could have picked one up for 500 million coins, or maybe even less if you were lucky. If we look over the past month, the average sell price is 857 million coins. Only one has sold in the last week, and that was for 900 mil. There's 3 auctions currently up, one for 950 mil, and 2 for just over a billion coins. What are the odds? It's your boy. Now, I'm not saying that these pet skins that I've showcased would be a great investment at this time, considering everybody knows that these have skyrocketed in price. However, what may be a decent idea is if you come over to the community shop, come over to Elizabeth, click on the fire sales tab, and in the bottom left here you've got previous fire sales. Now, this shows you the record of every single fire sale that's ever been active on Hypixel. So this will show you how many released, it'll show you the cost, it'll show you when it was released. If you've got mods, you'll be able to see really, really easy the correct price of it. And what I'd do is I'd, first of all, look for skins that look good. I'd look for skins that are on, desirable items, and then maybe just try and go as far back as you possibly can. You can take into consideration all of these factors. Now, of course, you can see the price of all of these items, and maybe just look for items that you think are a little bit underpriced. Invest in them. There's no guarantee that they're going to go up in price. They're a relatively safe investment. You have to watch out for market manipulation, though, on these skins. What people do is kind of buy out a lot of these older skins and then relist them all for higher because they pretty much have all of the supply on the auction house, basically artificially inflating the price. Meaning that if you were to pick one up for too expensive, then you'd basically be just wasting a lot of money and probably lose a lot of resale value in the item. So I definitely recommend doing your own research into the individual pet skin and how much it usually sells for. Checking on Cofflenet on the auction house history is a good way to look because you can see what they've previously sold for. And yeah, maybe just pick a couple of skins, and I wouldn't expect them to go up in price instantly. But maybe if you get lucky or you just have a good eye for nice looking skins on desirable items that are relatively inexpensive, then maybe you'll make some money. I don't know when, but maybe you will. I'd definitely say it's more of a long-term investment. But I'll tell you for a fact, there's definitely going to be more skins that are going to start to skyrocket in the near future, because it's happening all the time. Skins are kind of reaching that cycle of the life where they become really, really scarce, and then people start to realise that there's not really many left. Or if there is some left, so there's just going to be a lot of people holding on to them, and there's not many on the auction house, and they just will go up in price. Anyway, let me know in the comments, what are your investment plans? Have you invested in any items already? Are you going to invest in some items? Are you going to invest in pet skins? Is it too risky? Are you going to invest in items for some of the new updates? Let me know. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.